Hey, Husky fans, welcome back to another episode of Fourth and Inches, a Husky podcast. I am your host tonight, Leah. I am joined by Trevor Mueller and his snuggle buddy, Funky Monkey, aka Jakey Grant. Unfortunately, Coach is coaching actually. He's actually doing what his name says he's going to be doing, and he is not here tonight. We're both sad, or all three of us are sad about that. But we're here to first talk about the Apple Cup recap. It was a big dub down on the Palouse. Jake and Trevor were snuggling in Jake's Airstream, and they're going to tell us all about that. And then we're
It's
going
so
to
true.
move on to previewing number one and defending national champion Ohio State comes to Montlake. So starting off, what was the vibe down in Pullman? And I think we all want to know, how bad was Trevor snoring?
The vibe was great. Trevor did me a huge solid. He brought a sleep app machine. He didn't snore all night. I got plenty of rest. I felt great.
Now
And
that's where we're going to stop. And this podcast is only, what do you call it? We're coming together as your friends to tell you it's time for you to go get a sleep test done.
oh my!
Because this guy went walrus mode on Saturday and Sunday, Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. Brother, you're holding your breath too long. It scares me.
It is what it is, man. I'll go out in a ball of flames. Forget about it.
Forget
But
about
it
it.
was a great trip, Jake. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Keep going.
No, I just first of all, I want to thank First Down on the Farm. Top 10 establishment I've ever been to. Maybe top 5. Fans
fun.
there were great. We were one of like 2 Husky sites in the entire campsite. Everybody that stayed there was very accommodating. Shout out Steve and Sonia.
Steven, Sonia, Papa Steve, my new dad.
Yeah,
Helped me beat
and
Jake and
they
his dad in
have a
final.
great venue. They have a stage, and on Friday nights they play music. They have a cool bar, a silo bar. I mean, just amazing, incredible. The game itself, what an atmosphere, right, Trev?
So fun.
I can't say enough about that stadium as far as the fans. They're passionate. It got really, really loud. I would say comparable to Autzen as far as loud goes, and it's probably 20,000 less people than Autzen. And it's just unfortunate the other football team sucks.
The being in Pullman, so far away from the rest of like college football or even, the population of this state, right? It's such a small microcosm. You understand why people that go to Washington State become these like loyal cultish followers of that program and really embrace, like, if you don't understand until you go there. And I kind of understand that a little bit more because everything there is crimson, and everything, it's the Coug, right? It's everything that goes into Pullman is Washington State University. Everything's on campus. It's super walkable. The football stadium is in the middle of campus, and you can see in from different spots if you don't have tickets to the game. They have dorms that like look over the soccer field. There's so many really cool things about Washington State, and like we were obviously hanging with like an older demographic, but we didn't have any negative. I mean, we had a couple of weird things happen where like somebody yelled dogs down and then almost got in a car accident right afterwards.
That
But
was so fun.
but other than that, like everybody was like, they razzed us in a really fun way and then like came and hung out at the campsite. It was 10 out of 10.
That's
And
awesome.
again,
Good to hear.
shout out to First Down on the Farm. They had a free bus to get you there. Everything you could ask for, and cool shirts.
That's awesome. I've never been to Pullman. I would like to go, especially now that we play them and it's not like 10 degrees outside. It's much
Yeah.
more appealing. And plus, the roads to get there aren't as dangerous, obviously, because it's not covered in snow and ice. But the game itself, there were first half back and forth a little nerve-wracking until the Huskies put the game away. But overall, shout out to last week's episode. The Huskies did not wet their pants this week, which we expect them to not. So they righted the wrong of last year and got the trophy back.
And there's some stuff that I want to get into about the flow of this game where the mistake, like this 59-24 win could have been so much worse for the Cougs if it weren't for a couple of really key plays that kept him in it. I will say, like Jake said, the loudest it was after the first play of the sack of DeMond, and then their first touchdown were probably the two loudest moments of the stadium. But the flow of the game, obviously on the offensive side of the ball, we didn't ever not score unless we were kneeling to win the game. So, like, the offense was really, really efficient. The offensive line dominated. Denzel Boston's one of the best receivers in college football. And this team just is really efficient with DeMond Williams as the quarterback.
Everybody who wears number 12 had a great game.
Yeah, also true.
Yes, Trev, the offensive line had a really good day. The offense had a really good day. There were points in the game that I thought the offensive line struggled. They struggled to pick up blitz schemes. The first play of the game is a prime example. DeMond had absolutely zero time. Washington State brought pressure and got to him immediately. There was a couple more instances where it was kind of a mix of two, where the offensive line kind of didn't pick up a blitz scheme and DeMond held onto the ball a little bit too long. Ran out of the pocket and got sacked a couple more times. But, other than that, I love the creative efficiency from this offense. I love the screen pass to Jonah. I love the designed bootleg from DeMond, the keeper. All of it. I just thought that they were so creative. And then when you get down into the red zone, you remember that you have this wide receiver named Denzel Boston, and all you have to do is just throw it up in the air and let Denzel make a play. He's a superior athlete. He's a top 3 wide receiver in the Big Ten right now, which automatically puts you in a top 5 position of a wide receiver in the nation, because the Big Ten, as we know, has the best wide receivers. And then you have Jonah, who, as games go on, we've talked about this, he just has a tendency of wearing down defenses. Early in the game, I talked to Trevor in the middle of the game. I'm like, Jonah is not getting any room to run. And then over the course of the game, he'd break a 5-yarder off, he'd break an 8-yarder off, and then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, he's got 88 yards and a touchdown, and 59 and 2 touchdowns and a really long receiving touchdown off that screenplay. And he just has the ability to just break a defense down. And I just thought that their offense was just perfect that day.
Well, and that's what, one of the reasons, I guess we're getting into position groups here, but offensive line, the reason why I think they did such a good job is the Cougs were very intent on making sure that they muddied up around the line of scrimmage where Jonah Coleman does the bulk of his damage. And even with that, he went out and he averaged almost 5 yards a carry. With that, they also took advantage of the aggressive nature of the Coug defense and had those screen passes like you're talking about, and some, even Jonah Coleman's other touchdown where he was kind of split behind like the tight end, where he came across the formation to get the ball on like a spread, like a sweep. So like this Coug defense tried to muddy the waters, and for the most part, Washington was able to just take advantage of that, find the holes, do what they needed to do. Jonah Coleman had 6 receptions. Like they allowed the pressure to come and were able to just move the ball so efficiently. There wasn't a minute in that game where I thought that this offense couldn't do whatever they wanted to.
That's pretty accurate. I was hosting a football party that day, so I watched it for the first time on Sunday because I was too busy hosting to actually catch the game. But from the little that I saw, I was able to see the pick 6 by McLaughlin, which really cemented it. We all knew that the Huskies were going to win, but that really put the game away. And then we just put the hammer down in the late fourth quarter, which was really neat to see. But wished it could have happened earlier, but understand. Yes, Jake, looks like you're wanting to say something.
Yeah, you mentioned McLaughlin's pick 6. Talk about a tale of 2 different defenses, right? There was a defense that was throwing a whole bunch of pressure, quarterback pressure, blitz schemes, trying to get unique, and still getting moved along the field like at leisure. And then you have Washington's defense, who's playing completely vanilla, playing zone the entire game, and kind of just letting Zevi, who's a good quarterback. I'm not going to shame on Wazoo for not starting him the entire season because he looked really, really good. He
Probably
made
would have
two
been different in Texas.
Yeah, he made two really bad passes, which essentially cost them a chance at the game.
And one of
But
them he got hit too, right?
yeah, but just a tale of two completely different defenses. Washington's defense saying, we know we're going to win. We know that we can score on you whenever we want. All we need to do is make a couple of plays, and we'll walk out of here with exactly what happened at 59-24. 24 points for Wazoo on Saturday was the best case scenario for them, because if we do blitz scheme and we do get creative on defense and we do make a whole lot of adjustments, they might score 13, you know?
Well,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Is the
think that
reason
we've
for
learned.
like not? I was just going to ask, is the reason that we don't do that, is it because of depth? What do you think is the reason that we don't
I think
blitz
you're going
scheme
to
and we
see
don't get
some
creative?
blitzes that you don't want to put everything on film. You want to have the whole bag ready for this next week's pretty important.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of it. The other part of it that we learned something very, very important throughout the course of this year when it comes to what you're talking about with depth. We've learned that Dylan Robinson can start on the outside, and maybe Leroy Bryant should be more in the inside because, and that's what I was going to get to. I alluded it in the beginning. All those plays where they kind of made some big chunk yards and some of those touchdowns were on Leroy Bryant's man. And the reality is he's 6 foot. He's not a small guy, but you put Dylan Robinson out there, he looks a lot like Takario Davis and a lot like Ephesians Prysock, but he's a little thicker. And he's just a freshman. So like, I don't want to see him start against Ohio State, but you have figured out what your outside corners look like if Takario Davis is out next week.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, that like we don't have cause to hit the complete panic button if Dacario can't go on Saturday, knowing that Robinson's a pretty good second option.
He is. It's going to be a huge challenge for Ephesians Prysock if he can't go. I don't know if they're going to make, whether it's Davis or Prysock, follow him around, or they're going to play like the boundary and the one to the wide side, which then Ohio State will be able to take advantage of. But if it's Jeremiah Smith against Dylan Robinson, there's going to be time. It's Marshawn Lynch. I'm gonna get got, but he's going to get his too. So, but you're going to see a freshman versus a sophomore would be a top 5 pick if he could go into the NFL next year.
Absolutely. Well, should we move on to position highlights?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about how did Damon do? What's his grade? How did he run this offense this week?
I mean, I think we both agree that, 16 for 19, 2 yards shy of 300, 4 tutties, 88 yards on the ground, another tutty. I mean, do we just accept a D for him? Are we all good with a D minus? We want to drop it? I mean, down?
Well, that's the frustrating thing, Jake, is it's the first time Washington's played where the conference offensive player of the week wasn't only a Husky. He had to share it with a Hoosier.
Yeah, Demond, it was an A. He looked in control of the offense. I think for maybe the first time, I felt like he was really, really in control of the offense. He knew where he was going at all times. He made decisions. He made good throws. He ran the ball when he needed to. A couple of designed runs were amazing. You can't say enough good things about him this week.
He's so fast.
He's fast. He's versatile. He's unfazed. He got hit the first play that he was out there on the line of scrimmage, and it didn't affect his confidence.
And then threw a first down.
Yeah.
He's a beautiful play in a kind of a small window, and Denzel Boston reaches across the body, makes the catch. But you also saw 3 stepping out a couple of times as well. And that's really important for him when when this offensive line has to see, those guys in the silver helmets across and some of the other defenses that Washington's going to see. I mean, the combination of the Oregon game last year of the 10 sacks, it was a lot to do with the offensive line, but he also held the ball because, he's a kid that knows that he's real good. but he's got to be able to be on rhythm too. And I thought he was. And the Big Ten also thought so, making him the co-MVP with the Cal transfer. So good on him, and his ball is beautiful.
Absolutely. And I mean, Jonah Coleman continues to just be kind of okay. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing special, right?
I just feel so bad for these lower college teams that have to try to tackle him. He's so thick and strong that he, especially in the open field on that one where Demond escaped to the left,
Hmm.
hit him wide open. It was him one-on-one with the guy. The guy made a career, a career decision, and then some guy ended up catching him from behind. But like, he's, he's leading in college football in touchdowns. He's got 10 total with his receiving touchdown. He's just,
That's as many as he had all of last year, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken.
it's amazing.
I mean, in 3 games, right?
And I mean, obviously Jonah is just all world. How did we think Adam did?
He had 2 chunk runs. He got stacked up a little bit. I mean, that was the thing, like what Jake was saying, like the defense was revved up to stop them, and he still found chunk yards. But the thing that those two did really well, there was a few where they had guys coming off the edge, and I saw 2 specific examples where each of the running backs stood their guy up, giving Damon plenty of time to make a throw. So pass pro, nobody's Dylan Johnson, but that was some good pass protection that we saw yet on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm always all here for a good running back who can pass protect his quarterback. Dylan Johnson was absolutely one of a kind in that way because he was able to make sure that Mike was untouched. And anybody who can protect our diminutive quarterback is a gem.
100.
All right, wide receiving crew. Grade, highlights. What do we think?
They also block.
They also block.
They also
Wow.
block. Amari Evans had quite the pancake. Denzel Boston was crushing guys, especially on those designed runs. Those two, specifically Denzel Boston, is just so freaking physical. Like you're seeing people talk about Denzel Boston as one of the top receivers in the draft, and like that's some of the stuff that he does that separates him. And then like some of the plays he made in the end zone, like he's just the body control is. I think the telecast called him like the next Roma Dunze, and after watching what he did with his body, he's like a taller one. So he doesn't have the speed that Rome does, but like in the red zone, he's just automatic.
I'm really encouraged by his body control too in tough catches, where he's really got spatial awareness of like where do my feet need to be.
Yep.
He's making pro catches. Like he has,
Mm-hmm.
I think he had one where he had one toe in, and then the other one where he had two toes in. Yes, Jake.
Just as an entire, let's talk about the entire unit as a whole.
Hmm.
We all understand Denzel's great and he did great things. Our next leading receiver is Jonah with 6, also 3 yards shy of Denzel. But then you go to the actual wide receiver room, and it's 1 catch by Evans, it's 1 catch by Audric Harris, it's 1 catch by Raiden Vinesbright. So we're going to play Ohio State, and we are going to need more from more people, right? We need Omari to get healthy. We need him to make more plays. He was missed on it. He would have caught a second touchdown. He was missed. But we need the young guys to step up and make a lot more plays.
You're 100% correct. That is the thing that makes me nervous when you get into places where they have guys that can take a receiver away or make it really hard. Because we're about to play a team with the best safety in college football who's going to make life really hard on Denzel Boston. Where's the guy that's going to be that? Is it where's Decker DeGraff?
Right.
Like where's the tight end room? Where's Amari Evans? Finally, Amari Evans gets in. Let's see if that kind of helps bring around a little bit more of that continuity, right? But Audric Harris has been in the program for 2 years now. Like we got to see him, and then we've heard all this stuff about Roebuck and Vinesbright. Which one of those guys is going to step up? Because as much as we love that big three, you're going to have to get some depth as well.
Yeah,
That makes me nervous.
absolutely. And moving on to the O line, how did that unit do this week?
Really good.
I'm torn. I think I know Trevor's really excited about how they did, and the offense was great as a whole. I can't give them a grade right now until we play Ohio State.
That's very fair.
That's gonna be my determining factor of how the offensive line is looking. That's Pullman versus Columbus, A tier versus a C tier. So I'm gonna hold my grade on the offensive line until after this week.
That's entirely fair.
I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to grade them based on what we saw last year. And last year we lost to the Cougs.
That's also fair.
So I'm going to give them a friggin' A+ because for some reason the trophy was in Pullman last year, and that was finally righted, and this offense couldn't be stopped. So we'll have a new grade next week after we play another team in red. But as of right now, I couldn't be happier. And there was miscommunication on that first play on the left side. You saw that get fixed. And John Mills also killed a guy. So that was pretty fun to see in the end zone.
Yeah, Brick killed a guy.
Yeah. He absolutely on that screen pass, wasn't it?
It was the counter to he pulled on the counter to the right side for Jonah for his second touchdown.
The thing that I love, the thing that I'm going to give the offensive line an A+ at is the amount of shit talking they did when UW pulled away. They were standing with the benches like right here, right at like mouth level, and just see ya suckers, see ya, and they were clapping back at all the Wazoo fans. And
I think somebody who used to dislike is somebody that you like now after how much talking he was doing.
Yeah, hey, it's a Drew as a party. That I have officially jumped on the as a party bandwagon.
Okay. He was talking so much.
Yeah. And he is a big man.
He's a big
boy.
Yeah.
That's a large human. Okay, anyone going to disagree with the Big Ten's assessment of who the offensive MVP was?
No. I think
let's do it this way. Jake, which one do you want?
What do you mean?
Which offensive MVP do you want? There's 3 of them. You can take one of them.
Demond, but
okay.
If you're looking at it right now, I'd say that Indiana quarterback's the front runner for the Heisman now that Mateer's out for a month.
Jeez.
Who's wrong? Like, I mean, honestly.
Well, we'll see what happens when we pod again next week after Demond has a monster game. So Jake picks Demond. Leah, which one do you want? Do you want Denzel or Jonah?
I'm going to pick Jonah.
All right, then I get Denzel. All right, Game over.
Game over.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move from the offensive line to the defensive line. How do we feel about that unit?
Well, WSU immediately abandoned the run. So that makes me really happy. I feel like I'm going to turn into Jake on this side, where I want to pump the brakes on giving them a grade until I see what happens next week. Because I wasn't super impressed the first 2 weeks. But, I mean, as a team, they rushed for 28 yards and averaged 1 yard a carry. So, like, interior D-line, like, I'm good with that. Ontario Thompson got a tackle for loss. Armand Parker got his first sack of his career. Wow. So, like, cool things happened. They also pushed the offensive line into, I can't even say, Ekos. I was at the game. I didn't hear the way that they pronounce it. But incomplete. But I feel good about it. We'll see what happens next week.
I like how the defensive line played. Out of any unit on the defense, I am going to give them a passing grade. I'm going to give them a B+. Jacob Lane just continues to be a dude. That guy is on the defensive line. That guy is the best player on the defensive line all year, right? Isaiah Ward had a good game. 2 tackle for loss, half a sack. Jacob Lane, another half a sack. The one guy that's been getting a lot of flack, and I don't think it's justified, is Zach Durfee. He constantly is a physical presence from the defensive line. He's constantly pushing left tackles back into the lap of the quarterback. He might not be getting home, but I think he's doing a good enough job of disrupting quarterbacks to make it effective. And I just think that he should be given a little bit more credit at this point than what he's been getting from fans.
Being at the game, watching him, not necessarily in the TV screen that we see at home, it was pretty evident the impact that he has on a game. I do agree with you on that.
I mean, can we just agree that the edge is a defensive lineman?
No, we're talking about the interior and the edge. I
No,
texted Jake
stop.
off pod.
They line up on the offensive line against.
They have two different
offensive line.
jobs.
No, stop.
They
Oh,
have
you
two
guys about
very
to
different
throw
jobs.
hands.
It's the same. It's the same
We're
thing.
going from defensive line. We just talked about Durf. How did the edge room do?
Great.
In
I don't know, Jake. Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I think they were the only position players on the whole team that get a passing grade. Just the edges. The
Okay.
whole defensive line as a unit did great. I love them.
Isaiah Ward was really fun to watch too. Jacob Lane continues to make plays. Shout out Emerald Ridge. Two massive players, one on the offensive side of the ball, one on the defensive side of the ball. And Isaiah Ward could be a dude.
We love that. And corners.
When Dylan Robinson got in, I'm giving it a really high score.
And before that?
And unfortunately, like, my hope for Leroy Bryant, because I've seen him make plays in practice and in the spring game, and like he's forced his way into the rotation. I hope this is some Elijah Jackson type stuff where he is struggling early and then those bumps in the road move into where he's making plays later on in the season, because it's not a guy that he's gonna play.
I'm okay with how he played in the Apple Cup. If what you're kind of predicting, having a premonition about his sort of late season heroics, if he makes the game-saving play against the Ducks, I am totally okay with that.
That's you stole the words right out of my mouth. I the first thing I thought of when I saw him struggle and DeCario behind him talking about him or to him was Elijah Jackson. And you got to go through those trials, man. You don't just walk onto a campus and become the best player right away. You need to go through those trials and tribulations, and he's going through them right now. And I think that this team is not going to quit on him. I think he's talented enough. I think he's physical enough. He just needs to put it all together, and it's going to come together when he sees that play that he's seen before, and he goes out and he makes the play. And I don't give up on that man.
Yeah. Also, we found a new dude in Robinson.
Oh yeah, you're 100%. Like, the other, I wouldn't call it negative. Like, it was just part of being at an away game. Some woman turned around and was like, "Go home, dogs!" And as she finished her sentence, Dylan Robinson popped quarterback and got the fumble recovery.
So funny.
It was really funny, but
In
like
the middle of her waving goodbye to somebody, he fumbles, and then she turns around with hands on head and is like, "Oh no!" And that's when I got in trouble, because I bought a Fafo shirt. I bought a cougar colored Fafo shirt out in the front gate, and then I proceeded to wave it. Yeah, I wasn't wearing it. No, hell no. But I was holding it up, like, "Go ahead and find out." Yeah.
Also, she wanted us to go home. We were just trying to end the game, and actually that's what she wanted.
Yeah.
You're welcome, actually. Safety room. How did we do there, guys?
Dude.
Did you guys fall in love this weekend like I did?
Sunshine, dude. Just beautiful blonde hair and pick sixes.
Blonde hair?
Yeah, Alex McLaughlin's got blonde hair. Look it up.
Red.
No. Now you got me. Anyhow, Alex McLaughlin, he is, in his short amount of time here, is like in the running for one of the better defensive. That's blonde.
Oh, it's red.
I'm gonna
Strawberry blonde. Strawberry blonde.
Strawberry blonde. Whatever. Thanks for meeting me in the middle there. He's like in the running for like one of the most impactful. I mean, I don't know. You got Tacario Davis too. Like, what a good transfer pickup from a small school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was in the mix. Like, oh, he's pretty good. Oh, he's going to start. Because there was another one from a smaller school that kind of got a lot more of the headlines and stories written about him before the fall camp, and McLaughlin has wrestled away that safety position from everybody else.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to quote my friend Coach, who's not here on the podcast tonight, and it's like I'd like to apologize to Alex McLaughlin because I apologize. I was not familiar with your game.
uh-huh.
You are a
I
dude. Yes, Jake.
I fell in love with him after the first game, the Colorado State game, where he had 8 tackles, 6 solo, and it looked like he was all over the field. He was a little bit quieter in the UC Davis game for good reason. They weren't getting any passes completed across the field, so he really didn't have a job to do. But then coming back in this Wazoo game, the playmaking ability, and then him openly celebrating in people's faces cracks me up, especially I saw a play where it was Robinson that made the play. McLaughlin runs over and celebrates in the guy's face. He had nothing to do with it, but I love the energy anyways.
That's what a
I
good
also love,
teammate does, though. That's a hype man.
It's so funny.
I also love the way he was throwing up his dubs and clapping back at the crowd in Pullman after he made the interception.
Love that.
Delicious.
Yeah, and then like McKellistein, he didn't get a lot of opportunities, but like in the open field when he was one-on-one, where he did have some struggles in the beginning of the season, he was making those plays. So like, I feel really good about the safety room. I feel really good about the cornerback room, especially now that we know that Dylan Robinson's a guy. And I just really hope Tacario Davis comes back this week. I hope. I texted you and the Sound the Siren guys. I really hope it's gamesmanship on Jed Fish's part.
I do too. It seems kind of non-committal, so I have faith with that. But let's put a bow on this one and call out the defensive MVP. I feel like maybe we're all in agreement on this, like who that is.
We are.
It's gotta be number 12.
Number 12.
I'm gonna stray. I'm gonna say Jacob Lane.
Okay.
I think that guy is played out of his mind, and they have found a diamond in the rough with him.
That's a good call too, Jake.
How about just Ephesian Prysock boringly just having 2 pass defenses and like just being impossible to throw against?
That's what happens when you're a praying mantis.
That's true.
We haven't talked about this yet, but we won 59-24. We also did something that Jed Fish has not done at Washington, and that's win a road game. Took us 16 games. We got it done, and that's going to serve the team really well because right after we play Ohio State, we're going to go all the way across the country to College Park, Maryland, and play at Maryland against the Terrapins. So really good news. Not only do we win in style. It got the monkey off our back and took the trophy back.
We talked about that. It was either last week or the week. I think it was the season preview, actually. What happens if you go to Pullman and you don't win that game? And then how tight does your team get because you still haven't won a road game? So now, like you said, that monkey's off our back. We can fly freely across the country, know that we're a better team than them, come out loose, come out firing, and beat the hell out of them.
Yeah. Let's hope that happens in 2 weeks. Absolutely. So we have, a pretty okay game, I guess, coming up on Montlake on Saturday. We've had a lot of really big games in Seattle this week, but none bigger than hosting the Buckeyes, the defending national champions and number 1 in the country. 12:30 kick on Saturday. It's a purple out. Everyone wear their purple head to toe. The game starts at 12:30. We need everyone butts in seats by 11:45, 12. There are no excuses, gang. We need to be loud. We need to get there early. We need everyone to be yelling so loud that by the end of the third quarter, I want you all reaching for acetaminophen. That's right. It is a hard word to say, but I said it. So we all are going to get headaches from screaming, and we want that to happen. We want false starts on Ohio State. We want them to be confused. We want them to understand why this place is called the greatest setting, and it's not that if you guys come in late and don't start the game fully hyped up. What do you guys think?
Josh Pate, preaching the Northwest gospel was kind of fun this week. He talked about how a lot of people from Columbus that have never been out here are going to understand how loud that stadium is. And I think if you give him truth serum, because he's friends with the coach from the team just a little bit south of us, he ranked us 4 and 3. I think if you give him truth serum, he knows when it comes to loud stadiums that Husky Stadium is one of the loudest in the country, louder than any others on the West. and especially for big games like this. And it's going to be the atmosphere should be absolutely insane. It's absolutely sold out. I think you're going to see some crimson in there, but from what I've seen, it's going to be heavily purple. And I've been at Husky Stadium when it's been loud, and it's one of the best places to be. It is going to be a wake up call for that, especially Julian Sayin.
Yeah, I think when you travel across the country with a freshman quarterback who's only played a home game in a tough game, I think Rick Neuheisel said it best that like Dorsey, the reason that we won that game in 2001 or 2000 rather, that was my first game as a college student, is because he was not used to the noise that Husky Stadium provided, and they went on to, I mean, he went 2.5 years without losing a game after that. So yeah, Jake.
I'd just like to mention that we could, at any point, we could stop bringing up Josh Pate and bring up Joel Klatt instead, because that
Oh,
guy
okay.
is a UW lover. He had a segment on this week talking about how there's absolutely no reason that UW shouldn't be ranked. You're telling me that there's teams in the bottom 20 to 25 that have offenses better than Washington's, defenses that are better than Washington's? It's absolutely not true. Washington is a top 20, 25 team right now, the way that they're moving this ball. Julian Sayin is an interesting fellow because he is a freshman. He has not played on the road. This is one of the hardest road settings that he's going to play in his entire career. And in 3 games, he has 3 interceptions. He has a good completion percentage, but when he takes shots, he does get a little messy and he does throw some interceptions. And I think if we can get any sorts of pressure on him and hurry him, if, like I mentioned before, if Durfee can push that left tackle into his lap and get him throwing off his back foot, I would expect to see a turnover or two.
Yeah,
Well,
I think that's reasonable to expect from a freshman quarterback who has 3 interceptions all in his home field.
and to let's my apologies for bringing up Pate before I bring up Klatt, because
Thank
you're
you.
right. And some of that is really an indictment of what's happened to old media, where Christian Capel is no longer at the Seattle Times, and I apologize that I don't remember the new guy's name,
I think it's
but
Andy Yamashita.
Yeah.
that's right. Um, he didn't give him a vote. He didn't put him in. Capel, even in 2017 or 18, like got razzed because he had Washington higher than anybody else in the nation. And the reality is there's people like Joel Klatt, like the aforementioned Pate, that watch a lot more football than a lot of these old media writers who are focused on their program and then want to make sure they don't show bias by not doing stuff like that. But it's not giving a clear picture of what's going on in college football. And there's so much access now. There's so many people watching and talking about it. Look, we have a podcast. That the AP poll needs to change in some way if it's going to stay relevant at all. Because even the coaches polls have us receiving votes. We're like right there in the middle of it. So like, and coaches watch the games that they have to watch, right? They're not watching every single game. They're just kind of going on what it is. I've never really taken into account a lot of the coaches polls as opposed to the AP poll, but the AP poll continues to, especially this year, it's just come under fire with some of the people that have spoken up about just like not watching these games when there's people whose jobs aren't like Klatt and some of those other guys. Why don't we have a media poll that actually shows what it is? And it should
It's
be guys like Klatt and guys on Fox and guys like and guys that call games, because they have to watch these games and study these games. It should, you can still call it the AP poll. It's just different from the old media doing
it's
it that
people who
is focused
actually
on one.
watch.
You're
Because like
100%
Neuheisel's watching games, Chris Peterson. I mean, these are guys that are former UW coaches, but I actually feel like they are pretty unbiased in terms of they will criticize UW. And
100%.
for heck's sake, Rick Neuheisel works for the SEC, so he's not a UW apologist, and we fired him, so he has every reason to not like us. But I
There's
think
so many people working at these networks that it would be really really easy to do.
100%. The thing that I think was really indicative of like, oh, you really just don't know ball is that you put in votes for North Texas over Washington. Like that to me, it's like, oh, that's what you're gonna do. That's ridiculous. Let's just be totally real about this. This is a rivalry game. That's the only reason that it was a closer score than it was at North Texas. So, the only thing we have to do is be competitive and like just shut them up on the field. Not, I mean, Ohio State's not doing a lot of trash talking, but I'm mostly talking about the media, the Associated Press, everyone writ large who's just big fat not watching these games.
How crazy would it be? There's a chance for them to lose this game close and receive votes after going 3-0.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because like the excuse is, well, Washington hasn't played anybody. Excuse me, most people haven't. Has Penn State played anybody right now? Has Oregon? Come on. Be so for real about this.
Yeah. Well, you can say they played Oklahoma State, but like, come on.
College
They played
football-
Northwestern, Trev. They played Northwestern.
Touche.
College football doesn't start until week 4. We all
Yeah.
know it. It's just the fact of life. So here we are, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's
One
time.
thing that's encouraging is that like the spread started at, you guys, like, was it 12 and a half, and it's moved
Yeah.
all the way down to 8.5. So obviously people who are placing these money bets, shout out coach, know more ball than the Associated Press.
Yeah.
Look, speaking of bets,
Yes,
I
sir.
mentioned this a little bit before the podcast. I try to do a bussin' with the boys bet with my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law is a huge Ohio State fan. I tried to convince him to shave his head if UW covers. If they don't, I would shave my head. He chickened out immediately. If UW covers, he has to go to Halloween trick-or-treating as Jed Fish. Vice versa, if UW does not cover, I have to go. I have to paint my beard black, and I have to go as Ryan Day.
Talk about typecasting.
So
When they texted me, I was like, Jake has to color his beard, right? And they're like, oh, yeah.
yeah, that was immediately outlined in the bet agreement. He has to wear a visor. I have to dye my beard. And then
Get him that
he
really
told me
like
if they
gold
He
sweater.
tried to convince me, yeah, if they beat me by 20, I had to pierce my nipple, which I was not doing.
We apologize for any small children listening to the podcast.
I told I've never had a piercing in my entire life. That is not going to be my first.
Oh, that is so funny.
Man, I need to make more Ohio State friends, is what I'm learning right here.
Oh, that's
So,
so
moving on to the actual nitty-gritty of the football game on Montlake on Saturday, what are some key matchups that we are looking forward to go down on Montlake?
I mean, the obvious one is Jeremiah Smith versus either Dacario or Ephesians. The one that I'm really, really intrigued by is Bo Jackson and CJ Donaldson versus our defensive line and linebacker. With Buddha getting hurt, probably out for the season, can our defensive line and linebackers stop the run? If our safeties and corners lead our team in tackles this game, we've lost. If our defensive tackle and linebackers lead the team in tackles, we've won. Because I just don't think I don't think Julian Sayin can carry this team yet to a point of a major road victory by himself. So I want to see the D line, including the edges, come out, set the edge. Don't let them run around you. Don't let them run through you. That's my key to this game.
This is what I hope is the game where we're like, oh, Devin Bryant is putting himself in the middle linebacker in Husky history, the Ben Burke-Hervins, the who are the two that were here in 16 that we love so much? Keyshawn Bierria and Azim Victor.
Yeah.
Like Edifon Ulufushio. If he has himself a game, if he's able to shoot gaps and not be muddied up by the offensive line, pushing our defensive linemen back into him, that's going to be huge. Julian Sayin is the X factor, is going to be the X factor if Washington can, you just think of last year where every time, Oregon didn't have to throw the ball. Penn State didn't have to throw the ball. Iowa doesn't throw the ball, and they were able to put big numbers up on us because we just, 5-6 yards of carry is just unsustainable. if Washington, Javon Parker should be back in this game, and he's probably your best defensive lineman. You've seen the other guys make strides, but if the interior of this defensive line can't contain it and they're just going straight up the gut, and Devin Bryant and X-Ray Alexander and whoever else is going to be playing in those linebacker spots are having to make tackles on their heels, it's going to be a really, really long game. And it doesn't matter how much you yell because running isn't effective. They have to stop the run. They have to rattle this quarterback. And if he's off you guys already talked about, he's already got 3 interceptions. How many is Alex McLaughlin going to have if he's forced to throw the ball? And he's going to try to force the ball to Jeremiah Smith, because why wouldn't you? And Ephesians Price Hawk needs to get a pick. If we can get a pick, I feel good again with our offense that we're going to be able to move the ball. Caleb Downs scares me. Taking away Denzel Boston is something that they're going to be able to do at some points. I think Denzel's going to get his, but I feel good about this offense on the ground. Good.
I
Leah.
think I was just going to mention that our tight end room has been really non-existent, and I think maybe it's because we're saving them for something like this. And I would
We're
like
also
to see
blocking a lot.
What was that?
We're blocking a lot.
Blocking a lot, and I would
Moore's
love.
a really good blocker.
Decker was one of our unsung heroes last year, and I would love for him to get a touchdown or a big, like, just moving the ball downfield. Yeah, Jake.
Denzel could have 30 yards receiving in this game, but also have 2 touchdowns. I don't really care what he does in between the 20s. It's the corners, right? The 20 to the end zone, I think, is where if you can go trips on the left side and leave Denzel on single coverage on the high side and let him smoke a corner one-on-one like we just saw against Wazoo, I would take Denzel Boston over a single matchup corner all day long in the red zone. So in between the 20s, go to the tight ends, go to Jolman, go to screen passes to Jonah, go to Omari, who's fast. Get to the red zone, go to your bread and butter, go to Denzel. Just throw it up.
What's the? I was just gonna.
I'm sorry, Leah. Go ahead.
Fine. I was just gonna ask, like, what's the likelihood of Jonah getting a lot to eat on Saturday? Like, what's their defensive line look like? What's he going against?
They're big and strong.
The question is, and I don't know the answer to this, because Texas really hasn't given us a great answer.
Mm-hmm.
How good is that defense versus how far, how much did we look at Arch Manning as, who would you rather have right now, Arch Manning or Damon Williams?
I mean, yeah, Demond at this point, right?
So, right, at this point. So, yes, they held Texas to 7 points, but there were opportunities that were missed badly by Arch Manning in that game. And even with that, I'm looking down here. You have the top 2 rushers average 5 yards a carry and 4 yards a carry. I don't know where our offensive line stacks up against Texas, but that shows me that there are yards to have. Arch Manning threw almost, he completed a little over 50% of his passes. He had an interception. I think there's and this Washington offense is dynamic because if you try to stop the run, Damon can beat you with his arm. There has to be somebody else other than Denzel that catches some of those balls, but there's yards to be had. This isn't a juggernaut defense like they had last year. The guys that dominated the college football season last year are in the NFL now. So they're except for Caleb Downs. So that's kind of where I see, like, this offense can move the ball. It's all about the defense.
The thing with the offense that makes me nervous is looking across to the D line and looking at Caden McDonald, big number 98. He's 6'3", 326 pounds. He's already got 14 tackles on the season, a sack, and a forced fumble. That guy is an absolute game wrecker when it comes to running backs, and we need to double that kid all damn day. All day. Put Girion and Landon on him and just let those Ferndale kids absolutely blow him back, because If they don't, if they put one-on-one, an offensive lineman one-on-one with him, he's going to have a heyday, and Jonah's going to have a tough time because he won't be able to get any momentum to wear down that defense. You got to get Jonah away from this kid.
Say his name again.
Caden McDonald.
Okay.
I'm looking to see what he did. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong team.
Oh my God.
Big number 9. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. He had eight total tackles.
He's good. He's real good. He'll be in the NFL next year.
326. Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's
what I'm
it.
saying. Like
You know what? Texas had those guys when and I guess.
I mean, let's be honest though, Trev. That was week 1. We just got done talking about how week 1 is almost impossible to play, right? Like the fact that Ohio State and Texas even played each other week 1 is baffling because your team, as a team, is not ready to play football yet.
No.
And so now they have 3 games under their belt. They're better. They are more cohesive. Same as UW. I'm not saying UW hasn't also gained momentum, but it's not the same team that we saw week 1 against Texas. So it's hard to compare. It's not apples to apples on that.
Mm-hmm. It's not, but it's also not where Arch is probably better than he was.
Not.
Yeah. You can take stuff from when you play like opponents, and like of course they've gotten more cohesive with more games under their belt, but their games are Grambling in Ohio. So like I'm not it's and they gave up 9 to Ohio and 0 to Grambling. So like I take again like what you said, you don't know anything until week 4. So and this is week 5. So this is game 4 for both of these teams. So this is where we're going to learn a lot, but I think there is room for optimism by how much better Washington's offensive line is, the fact that we have Damon Williams as our quarterback, and some of the weapons that they have around him. There are yards to be gained, and there are points to be scored. It's not going to be like when we went to freaking Happy Valley and couldn't move the ball.
So, predictions, guys. What's going to happen on Montlake? What's going to be the final score as I walk out of the game on Saturday?
I'm going to hold true to what I said at the start of the season preview. I'm going to hold true to that. I think that we are going to cover. I hope. I think we lose a tough game by like 5 or 6 without a chance to score late. I think Ohio State has a chance to kneel down late.
Give a score, Price is Right.
What's a score? What's your
score? Price is Right. Let's go.
Come on, Bob Barker.
24-18.
So close to what I picked. Yeah, I'm with Jakey here. Like, I think I picked a loss in our preview of the season pod for a reason. Ohio State is a blue blood. They are the defending national champions for a reason. They're loaded with NFL talent. That doesn't mean that Washington isn't going to play well. It just is a litmus test for where we are as a program right now. We're not quite there. It doesn't mean that we can't get there and really soon, but we're not there yet. My score prediction is 24-17. So it's a full touchdown. Still cover. Hopefully, you know what? I think in a loss, we can actually gain AP respect, which is strange to say, but here we are. What do you say, Trev? You gonna
that
do
is
it?
kind of a weird win-win. Okay, so defending national champion. Lost a lot to the NFL. New quarterback. Coming to Husky Stadium. That sounds really familiar.
Come on, dude.
You know you want to do it, Trev.
38-34 Dogs.
Ooh, that's a lot of points, my friend.
That's a lot of points, Trev.
That's a lot of points.
All right. Well, let's take a look at around the country. We've got a lot of amazing football games happening basically right around the same time. I'm not really sure what the NCAA was thinking, scheduling all of these games on the same day, but the biggest one obviously is the one that we're playing. But
freaking conference play. I love it.
I know. Illinois is going to try to recover from a 60-point loss against Indiana, and they're going to host Southern California. SC is picked as a 6.5-point favorite on the road in Champaign.
SC to cover.
Okay.
SC's good. I was wrong about Illinois. I picked that might be the first one I changed my preview pick and swapped those picks around because Illinois it is they are not it.
I mean,
Turns
I
out
hear
they
you,
might be the Paper
Jakey.
Tigers.
I picked UCLA to be a loss for us, and I'd like to amend that pick too. Sorry,
Yeah,
Trev.
yikes.
Yeah.
That's a 9 o'clock
USC's
kick
good.
for us. Like that's so we can wake up, have some breakfast, and watch that. Unless you're gonna be like me and gonna be tailgating on Montlake at 12:30, the same time that we kick. Ole Miss, number 13, plays host to LSU, and Ole Miss is a 1.5 point favorite to host the Tigers.
I'll also take Ole Miss in this one.
Okay.
LSU. How good is that Clemson win looking now?
Not.
So I like Nussmeier, but Lane Kiffin's got the juice.
I'm gonna take LSU.
Okay. I think LSU is pretty good. I think I'm gonna have to agree with Jake on this one. Um, Sneaky one that I think that is predicted to be closer than I think it will be is Indiana is headed to Iowa and they are a 7.5 point favorite. I think that seems low.
But it's in
It's
Iowa.
it's Iowa and it's at Iowa, but also, holy smokes, Indiana. Like who
Yeah.
hurt you?
The playoff committee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Fernando Mendoza is an absolute beast. He's
Yeah.
already got 14 touchdowns on the year. Indiana's going to beat him by 30.
Indiana is going to make life really hard on the Big Ten when it comes to the Big Ten championship. There's like a part of me that's like, are they the best team in the Big Ten?
Well, also like sneaky, amazing game coming up in a couple of weeks at Autzen. Indiana is going to
Yeah.
Autzen.
Yep.
I I
Do it.
absolutely did buy
Take
Indiana
it.
shirts. Don't even worry about it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a
Might
fun
have
one
to
to watch.
take the lady to that one. That'd be a fun one to go to.
Oh, delicious. Two 4:30 kicks. The first one being number 17, Alabama heading to Georgia. Georgia's a 3.5 point favorite. I think a loss puts Kalen DeBoer squarely on the hot seat for Bama, if he's not there already.
I think 3.5 is really low.
I agree.
I think Alabama's not that good.
I think Georgia's.
I think after Trev nails his prediction on the UW Ohio State game, and then I nail my prediction on the Alabama Georgia game, Alabama's dropping out of the top 25, and they're looking up at UW, and Kalen DeBoer is begging for his job back, and Jed's giving him two middle fingers.
Respectfully, of course.
Respectfully, yeah. I said with all due respect, Alabama's going to lose by 20.
Whoa. And that's what I was saying. Like, I think Georgia's going to win. If it's close, Alabama maybe drops a couple of spots to 19. If they lose by if it's not competitive at the end, where like they're probably out of the top 25, even with how much the media has grown to love Nick Saban and Alabama. And then you're right, like the seat is scorching.
That's if he loses, that is 6 losses. He lost
Which is
3 games at
crazy.
Washington.
It's in Georgia.
Yes.
That place, they're relentless.
Dude,
Georgia's
we're
gonna
number
beat
2 in home winning streak, and we're nowhere near Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia's going to beat the brakes off of them.
Yeah. The last one is going to be the whiteout. Penn State plays host to Oregon, Penn State being a 3.5 point favorite. Shout out to Ryan Schill, who said Oregon is not afraid of going to Penn State because Husky Stadium is the loudest stadium that we'll ever go to. Okay. Backhanded compliment, but I feel you. Does Oregon have anything to fear going to Happy Valley?
They are right. Garrett texted me that very similar thing today, that like, is it overblown? And I'm like, well, like when you take an offensive line that's put together with duct tape and you have a quarterback that can't move, like, yeah, it's pretty hard. But like, there's a lot of people there. Husky Stadium is crazy loud. What I wonder is like that this will be the first time Dante Moore has to play in an environment like that. Like he played at UCLA. They don't have environments, as much as it hurts me to say.
They have vibes, Trev. They have vibes.
Yeah. They have empty seats to play in front of. So these seats will be full of people wearing white shirts.
Yeah.
while I don't think they get run out of the building, I think Penn State probably, I don't know, it could be a 3-point game, but I think they cover. But I think it's close. It's not like they're not going to get the brakes beat off of them.
No, I think it's a 10-point game minimum, though. I don't think it's going to be 3.
I think the whiteout is one of the more intimidating things for a traveling football team. I know it did Washington in last year. I'm a little fearful. Oregon looks a lot better than we had all anticipated early in the season, and I do think that Penn State somehow still doesn't throw to wide receivers. What the hell is going on in Happy Valley? Throw to a wide receiver. You got him. You got a quarterback that you guys all thought was going to be a top 3 pick this year. You got the wide receivers. Just throw him the ball, man. Just
James Franklin says, nah.
They have 2 NFL running backs on that team, but I just think Oregon can score. So I think Oregon is going to lose by less than 3. I think it's going to be a really, really close game.
So actually, Jake, what you said kind of like solidified a thought that I've been having about the whiteout in Happy Valley in general when it comes to playing at Autzen or playing at Husky Stadium or something like that. I think you're right that once you get into the game, like Husky Stadium is one of the best in the business. Beaver Stadium is one of the best in the business as well. The difference in walking into a whiteout is kind of the awe of 100,000 people all in white. I think that there's something to that that's pretty cool. But if you can get past that and lock in, which clearly Washington just wasn't good on the road and was not going to be able to do that, I think that's pretty intimidating as you walk out onto the field. But once you get into the course of the game, it is going to be very similar to playing at a Husky Stadium or an Autzen or another one of those stadiums that's not the Rose Bowl during the random time in November.
I think Penn State did a really smart move. As soon as the Big Ten moved in, absorbed the Pac-12 schools, they proceeded to pick the Pac-12 schools for their first whiteouts. And it's teams that have never gone into Penn State and Happy Valley during a game at all. I mean, maybe not ever, but not in recent history. And now they're going into a whiteout where these fans are juiced, the players are juiced, and this Oregon team has not seen a crowd like that ever. So I think that Penn State has been pretty meticulous about the thinking about when they're doing their whiteouts.
Yeah.
I bet you next year the whiteout will be during the USC. Week that USC comes to town.
Yeah. I already thought about this.
Yeah. I'm really sad that Coach isn't on the podcast because his favorite coach to talk about is James Franklin.
That is true. It is his favorite coach.
Yeah.
He actually called me in during halftime crying that he didn't get to talk about him.
And that I believe is a fact.
Dare we say Coach loves James Franklin as much as Trev loves UCLA?
I want to talk about James like a toddler, like hyperventilating.
He was really, really sad to not be able to talk about his best friend, James Franklin. He talks about him so well on this podcast. It's basically a James Franklin podcast.
Basically.
It's Coach with James Franklin. It's me with Siler Miles.
It's Leah with Jen Cohen.
Yeah, and then it's Trev with Nick Holt. Yeah. Go ahead, throw all over us, boys. We love getting 60 scores.
We're on the goal line. I need you 15 yards away from the line of scrimmage at all times. Prevent what?
Yeah. Well, we're punch drunk. It's been a great week in Seattle. Shout out Dan Wilson and the Seattle Mariners. We just won the West tonight. Cal Raleigh is not human. He hit 60 home runs this year. So far, the number keeps going up. So we will be back in your ears, hopefully talking about a score prediction where Trevor was accurate, because he is the dude on this podcast. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button wherever you listen to podcasts, either on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And go ahead and watch us on YouTube. I feel like I get this wrong every week, Trev, but it's 4th and Inches, a Husky podcast, -J3X, I want to say. Something like that.
Here's what I'll say about it. First off, sorry for losing the sign-in for the other one. Second off, just go on YouTube, Fourth and Inch is a Husky podcast, and then the one that has stuff not from 4 years ago, that's the one you've subscribed to. And shout out to we're getting a few views on it, so like, good on you guys.
Absolutely.
Share it with your friends. We're fun.
If you have watched us, just let us know how entertaining it is.
Yeah,
Leave
absolutely.
a message,
Especially if you want to hear more about Trevor and Jake snuggling. I'm really curious to hear that information.
He's wearing a Snuggie in memoriam right now.
It's true.
He really is. I can
Yeah.
attest to that. And you can only see this if you watch it on YouTube. So there you go. So that'll do it for another episode of Fourth and Inches, a Husky podcast. We will be back in your ears, hopefully at least once next week, talking about the recap of this game and then previewing the Maryland game the week after that. So for Trevor Mueller, Jake Grant, and Coach V in absentia, I'm UW Leah. We thank you, Ohio State, for your service in Pasadena on January 1st. But the I's we dot on Saturday will be the words Washington and winner. Go Dogs.
Hey,
Go Dogs.
Shout out, Coach. Shout out, JCap.